Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be building another episode of our Build the Delorean model car from Eagle Moss. This is going to be issue number 30, and we're going to be working on the water pipes today. Here's the steps we're going to be following. This one looks like it's going to be pretty complicated. I hope I'm wrong. I'm expecting these to get more and more complicated as we get further and further into the build. We'll talk about that later. We got an article here on plans for making Back to the Future 2 and 3, which they filmed back to back, and having to renegotiate with the cast and all those things because they were never really planning on making a sequel until the movie became hugely popular. So this is just an article on some of the things they had to overcome and what they did about that. And then we've got a little article on Albert Einstein, who was the inspiration for Doc Brown's character. And then what we got going on next episode, which looks like more floor plates, if I had to guess. So, let's go ahead and get started. Due to the fact that we're using the entire car on this one, I'm going to have to be moving around the instruction manual and a couple of other things so I can keep everything in camera. So please bear with me on that. We've got step 1 right here, which I believe is going to be this piece. And it looks like it's going to go in front of the car, which we got right here. Right in this area. Now, before I started filming, I was looking over the car and I noticed that it looks like we got pipes that are going to be added to these screws here. Screws were already in both of these holes. I must have done that in a previous episode, or maybe it came that way, not sure, but I went ahead and pulled them out so that you didn't have to watch me unscrewing needless screws on camera. So we've got this piece which fits into the hole right there. And then the back section is going to get screwed down with that screw that I pulled out, which I have right here. Instructions say it's a JM screw. So if you get a model where the screw isn't there, it does come with some JM screws in this episode. But I'm just going to use the ones that were already in there. And just put it right back in. Okay, well that was pretty easy. Step 1's already done. Step 2, that looks like the underside of the car there. So, here's step 2. Looks like we're looking at a large undercarriage piece where we can't even see the whole piece. So, we've got 2 really long pieces here. It could be either of them. So, that's not great. So let's go ahead and flip the car over and see what we're looking at. We know that this is the engine, so this is going to be the front of the car. So we'll go ahead and flip this over. And that means that this piece should go somewhere right along here. So let's see if I can get one of those to fit in that spot. Based on this diagram here where we've got 2 notches, I believe the piece we're looking at is this one because this one has the 2 notches. So looks like this back section might actually go underneath the car. And the piece connects like, nope. If this is the correct piece, that's a no-go. Because this is bending right there. So maybe it goes on the other side like that. Nope, that's also a no-go. But based on this diagram, we've got 2 rings in the posts right there. which is what we have in this piece. But this back section doesn't seem to really want to go anywhere. Looks like, based on this, it needs to go under something here and connect there. That looks like the underside of the engine. So maybe, it looks like I'm putting this on backwards. So let's go ahead and flip this around and try that again. I'm still pretty certain, based on the picture, that this is the right piece. It looks like this needs to be stuck underneath here somehow for these pieces to fit where they need to go. Okay, that looks correct. Yeah, that looks correct. Okay, and those are FP screws. Let's go ahead and get out some FP screws. So yeah, that funky, twisty part of the pipe needs to be facing toward the engine here. And then it should fit like it's supposed to. Looks like we got 2 of those. One thing nice about doing this on the bed, even though there are some inconveniences about it, it's nearly impossible to lose pieces, so that's kind of nice. Okay, so there's one piece. Hopefully I've got this tail part in the right position. Otherwise I'm going to have to pull this right back out. Looks like that one's not quite tight enough. Alright. Okay, that's in there nice and good. So here's step 3, and we're looking at this little piece that's underneath the car here. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on camera or not, but this little tab, there's a hole right there that you can screw it into. In fact, there's 2 holes there. But it lines up very nicely with the one, so I'm going to assume that that's the one that we're going to screw it into. And that is going to be done with an AM screw. Looks like, based on this diagram, that the car is still upside down, because we've got this flat section right here, the graded section, which I believe is this. So it looks like the screw needs to come in here from underneath. So hopefully that's the case. Oh man, this is going to be tough. Okay, let's see if I can line up the pipe and then drop the screw in there, since getting it with the screwdriver isn't going to work. Oh man, this is going to be nearly impossible to screw in. I can't even get it with the tweezers. We're in trouble. I can't reach it with my finger because of where it's at. So I'm just going to have to keep stabbing and stabbing at it in the hopes that I can get it in the right spot. This is going to be rough. Every time it falls out, I have to grab it with the tweezers because I've got no other way of getting it. And I can't put it in with the tweezers because I've got no way of screwing it in while the tweezers are holding it. And the screwdriver isn't magnetic. Okay, looks like I got it. Although that was just blind luck. I could have been at that for a long time. So I really, really hope that this is where this is supposed to be screwed in, because I don't want to have to do that again. Okay, there it is, nice and snug. And if you can see, screwed in right there. That looks correct. The dipstick might supposed to go on the other side of that. I'm not really sure. That's what it looks like. Yep, that is the case. And now I've created another can of worms for myself because I can't reach the dipstick. And it just fell out completely. Okay, so I'm going to have to glue that back in when this episode is over. If I can even find where it went. That's going to be fun. Okay, I think I see it. But yeah, that's going to be a huge pain. So we're going to put that aside and deal with that later. Okay, well, that wasn't pleasant. Step 4 doesn't really show me much of anything. So let's see if we can find where that is on the car. Okay, it looks like, I don't know if this is going to show up on camera, it looks like this piece right here. So let's take a closer look at that and see if we can find a spot where maybe some pipes go in. Maybe it's not that piece, maybe it's this piece. We've got two ridges right here on the diagram, and I think that's these two ridges right here. So let's take a peek at the back of the car. And that piece looks to be maybe this black one right here. Okay, so we got a little ridge right here in this black piece. And we've got a spot for a screw right there. So I think those connect. If that's the case, where does the black end go? Okay, I think I found it. So we got a tiny little ridge right here. And we got another spot right there. So I believe that's where this is going to connect. So we got one. and 2. Got it. And no screw. That seems kind of weird. I guess it's just supposed to snap on there and stay there. So that piece might need some glue later. We'll probably glue that into place when we put the dipstick back where it's supposed to go. Because I don't like that. I think that's going to come back out. Okay, well, moving on. That looks like the underside of the car again. So we'll flip it back over. This ridge right here looks like that ridge right there. So it looks like we're going to be putting in the piece that connects to this pipe. And we've got 2 pieces that could fit that bill that look pretty much identical. So let's see if we can find out where they go. It looks like one is supposed to be going like underneath the car somewhere. Oh, it's supposed to connect to the other pipe that we already installed. Okay. So, naturally, we're looking at, again, a very, very tough task. Putting that pipe. So maybe that's not the one we want. Let's try this one. Yeah, this looks like the one. Okay. So, the little notch right on the end of this pipe goes in this hole right there. Like that. And then the other end is going to get screwed in right there. Boy, what a mess. Alright, that's going to take an AP screw. And it's going to go right. All these pipes are plastic, so be very, very careful. Okay. Whew, that one's in. Alright, and step 6. Boy, these diagrams are terrible. This is our diagram. Not really sure where that is on the car. Looks like we need to flip it around again. And this notch, I believe, is that notch. So the car needs to be facing this way. And the pipe needs to go up here. Oh, well, that's just the thing that we already connected. So they did that in 2 steps when it really only needed 1. Fine, whatever. Okay, so we're going to go back to the front of the car now with this funky looking pipe. And that one is going to go opposite this one. So we're going to go back to that screw that I removed before I started filming. We've got 2 notches right here at the very front of the car. And that's where the pipe's going to plug in. And then we're going to screw it down. Okay, got it in both places, and then it just screws right there with the JM screw, which I already pulled out earlier. So I'm just go ahead and put that right back in there. And naturally, it's not going in. Alright, there we go. Alright, so there's that piece. That one went in fairly easily. And then it looks like we're going to flip the car over again and probably do the same thing on the other side. So let's see. Looks like it's going to want the piece going towards the engine first. So it looks like this one's going to go down. Nope, not there. It's going to go maybe there. Yes, right there. And then it's going to be screwed in the same way as the other one. That's going to be with 2 FP screws. Okay, there's one. Okay, and there's 2. And then I'm guessing, yep, and with the car upside down, we're going to need to put one in on the other side, just like we did before. I mean, there's no dipstick in the way this time, and there's not quite as much traffic, so I can actually get my fingers down there. So I guess that's a nice plus. And we're looking at an AM screw. If I had to guess, there's 2 holes down here, and the diagram doesn't even show which one it needs to be put in. But it looks like this one actually goes on the nearest one instead of the farthest one like the other side did. And we'll have no way of knowing until a later issue. Not cool. Need some better diagrams in this issue, Eagle Moss. For those of us that don't know what the hell we're doing. Okay, let's see if I can get that sucker in there. Yeah, that was quite a bit easier than the other side. It's already going in. Alright. There we go. Needs to tighten just a little bit more. Okay. Okay, so now we have this diagram here. And once again, that looks like it's underneath the belt on the right side of the car. So we're going to turn the car right side up again. And it looks like that's going to be on the back belt here, right next to where the other pipe was, which I'm guessing is this one. So let's take a little peek here and see if we can find a spot. Yep, I see it. Where a pipe should go. And it looks like that's going to be this black piece right here. And it looks like the curved part is going to go... Okay, so let's just make sure you guys can see what I'm seeing here. We've got one little notch right here where the curved end of the pipe is going to go. And then the other side's going to go over here on the other end of that water pipe. So that's what we're going to try and accomplish here. If it's anything like the other side, I'm guessing that I'm going to have to glue this when I'm done filming this episode. Well, this is interesting. The engine is actually in the way of me putting this pipe on that notch. Okay, you got to force it in there, but it can be done. And then attach right there. And I guess that's just supposed to stay there with no glue, no nothing. Not very comfortable with that either. I'm probably going to glue this piece and this piece in place, both of them. Okay, next piece is that other piece of the pipe that's going to go along the other side. So we're going to need to flip the car over again. And then this piece is going to go right here with it plugging into this notch here on the other pipe. So over that piece there. And then into the notch right there. And that one I'm probably not going to glue because we're adding a screw, so it should stay in place without too much trouble. And what screw are we using? Looks like an AP. Okay, and it's in. Really don't like this part because you got to push hard to make the screw go down, but it's a plastic piece. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but the piece is actually flexing from me pressing on it, and I really don't like that. Felt something click. Did it come out? No, it didn't come out. Still in there on that side. Push this down a little bit more. Try and get it as tight as I can without breaking it. I think that's as good as it's going to get. Okay, that's on there. Okay, and it looks like that's it. That was not fun. So here's what I'm going to do now that that's over. I'm going to glue the dipstick back into place for one. And I'm going to glue both of these black pipes in place because there were no screws holding these together at all, and I think they're just going to come right out. So those are going to be the upgrades that I add once I cut the video here. So this car will be a little bit more sturdy the next time we film. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. Next episode looks like we're going to be doing some more floor pieces. Well, thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you next time.